What is going on, my freaks, geeks, and free thinkers? This is Mike Romanelli with episode number 59. On this episode, we're going to just chop it up with me and Clint. Clint, what's up, man?
Not much.
We're going to kind of wrap it up, right?
Reviewing the year.
Wrapping it up. It's been an awesome
year.
year.
Reviewed.
Kind of.
We just talk.
Yeah. It's just
but we did talk. We did kind of. You did kind of like steer us in the direction of reflection. You put us in the direction of reflection. But the problem is you're not going that way, Michael. So you can't look back too much.
This sounds like he's so much smarter than the episode.
That's why your windshield is so much bigger than your rear view, bro.
Love it. I hope you guys enjoy this one.
All right.
Doodling and Etruscan, addicts of drugs not yet synthesized, black marketeers of World War III, excisers of telepathic sensitivity, osteopaths of spirit, investigators of infractions denounced by bland paranoid chess players.
Chatting. And the one with your dildos?
So I'm going to make a bunch of different bags. Like, so when I ride, I have my gear bag, and it just has all the shit in it all the time. And then my snowboard bag, same thing. It's got all the stuff in it to tune your board, and my gloves, and my goggles, and wax, and blah, 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 you know, so.
Okay.
So I don't have bags like that for comedy shows or live stream shows. So when I went to do the hot box comedy,
You're turning into Carrot Top? You need a bag for comedy?
I need multiple bags.
Bringing like props with you? What's happening?
Yeah, cameras, I guess, are
Gallagher, you're going to start smashing fucking...
cameras? Probably not. It's
Please don't do
expensive.
that. Don't smash computer equipment or cameras. We need that.
Hold on, let me turn your camera on. So, I gotta hit this stupid button. So when we do the Hotbox comedy, it's supposed to be live streamed, and I realized I'm missing one cord. And we had just been here, and Bethany's like, should we go back? And I said, no, I'm pretty sure it's in a box at my parents' house, which it was. It was in a plastic box on their floor. So then I figured out a workaround where instead of the mic running straight into the streaming audio, I just ran a wireless mic. I had them put the wireless mic on, and then I hosted the show. So I had one, and then they just swapped it in between. And so I'd do like one joke.
It worked?
Yeah. I had the wireless mic run straight to the streaming software, so then that's what went out. But I could have had it straight from the mic. But also, if you got straight from the mic, then you don't really get the crowd laughing.
Yeah.
So, and then I went to an open mic, or not an open mic. I had a show at a bar last night, and I forgot my power cord and a mic cord. So I went through the theater next door, and I found a power cord.
You stole.
I didn't steal. They knew that I went over there. But then I even asked them, I said, do you know where any mic cables are? No mic cables. So we literally stood at the end of the bar. There was only a couple of people there for comedy, so I just walked around and I was like, hey, who's here for comedy? So they come to the end of the bar and they're standing there. Well, the interesting thing now is that they can talk as loud as you can. So now you're like arguing with people about your jokes. You're like...
So you gave the audience a microphone?
Well, no, we had no microphone because I didn't have the cord. So I'm just talking to him like this. At some point, I'm talking to him like blah, blah, blah. I don't have mic. We're just going to do the show. So I'm telling jokes. And the one guy stands there and like 4 minutes in, he goes, oh, this is the show. Like, so the whole time he was a very audible. You could tell what he was, he'd be like, Yup. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, exactly.
It's more like therapy.
Yeah.
He's had a therapy session at a bar.
Yeah, yup, No, that makes sense. So then we go to a point where they're getting drunker because I'm going in between everybody. I also have 3 people, too, because I was going to have Camacho come and do his hour or whatever, and then last minute he's like, we'll just save it for the dojo. And I'm like, fuck, now I have nobody. So there was 3 of us, so I seriously did like 15 minutes in the beginning, and then I did like 4 minutes in between everybody, the other 2 people. So by the end of it, they're drunk, and then they're like, I try to tell that Dick Wolf joke.
Yeah.
And she just starts going, and then I go, oh, he should have done porn. And she goes, he couldn't do porn. I saw him. And I'm like, he's not on the show, man. He's on that Law and Order. And I go, he produces it. And she goes, I saw him on it. And I'm like, I don't think he's on them. I go, he just produces them. So this is then a 30-second, a minute argument between her and I trying to be like, he's just a producer. He's not even on the show. And she's just like yelling back at me.
Oh my God.
So then I have to pull up a picture and be like, show her the picture of him. And I'm like,
that's like, I don't even know what that is. That's
dude,
like,
it was kind of fun, but like it was a good workout for sure.
bar shows. When you start doing comedy at the bar, it's always
Well, and it was a free bar show.
yeah, it's always
So
interesting
the issue is that nobody really has any vested interest,
Yeah.
so they just sit there and talk to you the whole time instead of
And
being like, "I
it
want to
was a
listen to your
Tuesday
jokes."
also.
I want to listen to your jokes.
I'm not judging people.
Well,
but
listen,
people
that's-
getting loaded on a Tuesday.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
You know,
The last time we were there, another woman.
yeah, you had some issues.
She was
last week.
75. Yeah, she kept. By the end of the show, she came up and took the mic out of Carucci's hand and started telling everybody that all the jobs she used to do, and one of them was a stripper.
This is
and
not. You're not selling people on bar shows. This at all.
yeah, most free. You have to have a good ticket price on the show, or you're gonna get people that don't really give a fuck.
Absolutely.
It's almost everyone I've done that's free, even $5, but still you're differentiating your crowd.
The only place that kind of works is like a hustling, bustling city where maybe there's tourists or groups of students
Right.
or whatever, and like they come in and they want to be entertained. But for the most part, yeah, if you're in just some little town at a watering hole and just start telling dick
Right.
jokes or whatever type of crazy jokes, for the most part, I mean, you're gonna have an interesting reaction from the people.
Well, now they come for it. These were the people that were there for it. The one woman was they were all local. No, one guy was driving through because they told him that it was on the first and third Tuesday. So he actually drove. He was driving through and he stopped to, because he actually asked. He was like, "Is there comedy?" Because there was nothing set up. We were just sitting there, and
That's your comedian, the guy that's talking.
yeah, I just literally got them at the end of the bar and just stood there and talked to them. But it was a good exercise, and I feel confident going into anything now because fuck,
It's good for you guys. It's good for. It's definitely good for the comics.
dude,
Absolutely.
it's a rough room. Carucci was there last time, and he was just so excited about it. He's like, "This is a great workout room," because it is like you got to try to wrangle the people in and be like,
yeah. No, it's definitely that kind of stuff is good for you guys for sure.
yeah."
To figure out, how to work in a rowdy crowd or whatever, get their attention.
Try to remember your jokes as they spit
as
stuff
they're just
at
fucking
you.
arguing who Dick Wolf is. and-
Dude, the amount of feedback was just. I was listening to the one girl, Deanna, and they're just like critiquing every. I'm like,
on the spot.
yeah, I'm like, this is like, workshopping. You go there and you just have people yell stuff back at you. Observations or like.
I like the people that yell, "Not funny."
Yeah,
I like that. It's not funny.
yeah.
That's not funny.
Thank you.
Those people are my favorite. Those are normally, if I had to generalize who that person is, it's normally a middle to late aged woman, and she's had a couple too many glasses
Yeah.
of wine, and she's sitting in the back. With
And
that.
she fancies herself very funny.
yeah, or she's just. It's
Bitter.
funny. I gotta say, because that's happened here a few times. It actually happened on Friday here, and those ladies, a lot of time, or those people, doesn't have to always be a lady. In the beginning, normally seem like they're going to be the fun crowd,
Yeah.
like they're the ones asking all the questions. Oh, this is working, and then by the end of the night, if they have
They're
a couple,
just too drunk.
oh man, yeah,
That
It's not
one,
funny. That joke is not funny.
that one,
Like,
that one
Thank you.
night I had to kick that lady out after she got moved around the room or whatever, right off of the bat, because I don't know if I think I either hosted or opened. It may have been one where we just called the next people up, but I opened, and I want to say I was hosting.
for a little context, that was the day after the election. They were still counting votes, so it was a weird time in history.
So, but my whole point is I'm not even going to go through the whole thing. But immediately, as soon as I got up there, her husband looked wasted. So I said something to him, thought that was going to be the trouble guy in the room.
Yeah.
And then his wife started yapping, and I was like, oh, I picked it wrong. I was one seat off. 'Cause it's definitely going to be this woman.
I was in the office and I heard her screaming at you, and she's like,
In
"You
the
called me a
hallway.
Karen. I take offense to that. You called me a Karen."
Okay, I will give some context. I went up first, and I did call her Karen. Then there's probably 2 other comedians, and then I think it was Barry, maybe, and
Barry
Ribs.
Yeah.
And then he called her Karen or something. Maybe he didn't even call her Karen. And then she got mad and stormed out. So then I go out to see what's wrong, and she's like, he called me Karen. And I called you Karen. And that was 3 people ago.
Yes.
And she's like, I did
That's
not
exactly
talk
what I
through
heard.
his set. And I go, his set, like I said, there was 3 people in between me and him. I said, and you talked through every single one of them. She didn't even
Yeah,
remember
that's exactly
any
what
of
you
that.
said. That's exactly what I heard
Because
you
I
say.
remember her being like, thinking that it was still the same. It was me still up there. And I'm like, there's been multiple people in between me and this guy. And you still think
That's what I heard
he's
you say.
me.
You talked through all three comedians, and then the husband comes out. I was like, "Listen, I'm really sorry. They changed her medicine." I'm like, great,
Dude,
They changed her medicine, and she's drinking and causing a scene in a comedy show.
Bro. And then him and his friend just sat in the room, and they were like, listen, kick her out. We're not leaving. We came for comedy.
Well, they were super excited. I mean, if you think about it, it was you had Voss and Berg together. We've done it after, but that was the first time
Yeah.
here that was done. It was you had Barry Rib. It was a great show.
No, it was a good show.
It was a
for
really
sure.
good show, like the lineup. And this lady just wanted to fucking ruin it.
Yeah, she was just mad about.
And it was also a very weird time because people still
Yeah.
didn't know. Like it was just everyone remembers that.
We
day.
didn't know that it was going to turn into Utopia.
Yeah, we got this beautiful utopia that it turned into. Hey, speaking about the election, have you heard our president's voice recently? No? Come on.
I haven't. I try not to watch the news.
Well, that's good for you. And that's probably the best advice you give anyone listening to this show is to fucking turn the computer and the TV off.
Yeah.
But if you were,
He
wanted
sounds like
to
a
be
robot now? Or
he
just a
sounds
totally
very-
different person?
He sounds very presidential, let's say, almost like George Clooney speaking for him. It's like it sounds the way a president should sound,
Right.
Not the not like the way you and I sound,
And not come on, man.
Hey, come on, man. Those things, them guys. No, it's none of that. It's like this presidential, and then somebody asked him, what's going on with the president's voice? Like, you think we're that fucking retarded?
Government
I don't care.
mandated math.
We're not that fucking retarded, people. So, he's got a cold.
Made him smarter?
I want that cold.
Yeah.
Whatever cold he's got, whatever frog he has in his voice. Dude, if I could speak like that now. So I know you haven't heard it yet, Clint, but I wish we could pull it up right now.
Soon.
But yeah,
5 weeks.
I don't want to bore the listeners. And
We got a new computer coming in 5 weeks.
yeah, so hopefully we won't have all those sound issues. But anyway.
There's not going to be any sound issue now.
No, now because it's just you and I. But
Yeah.
dude, it's like I'm wondering with this thing, right? Do they clearly they had somebody else speaking for him, right? Because it's not even like his voice has changed. Like he is speaking.
Do you think they would do that?
I wonder. Like, are they like? Do we just have like a voice actor with his mouth moving? I don't even know what the fuck it is because I've seen all these pictures too, where you see like the ears and the nose are different. I don't know what the fuck that's all about. And you could see that with a lot of.
Do you think they cloned him?
Well, I don't. That's what I want to get. That's what I want to ask you. Like, what is that? Or do you think that they were like, let's just try? Like, this guy's a disaster. he's saying some crazy shit.
Yeah.
He says some crazy shit. I mean, he says some fucking crazy shit. So are they like?
But nobody seems worried about it, so I don't know.
Well, maybe they're like, let's just see. Let's see if the public is this dumb. Let's just slide this George Clooney voice actor in, and let's just.
So, do you think
Like, what the fuck
that
happened?
it's him and they have a recording, or you think that it's totally different person?
I have no idea. Whoever that voice was, whatever. I gotta
Pull it up.
I wish I could pull this up while I do two things at once right now. You know, the funny thing is, I was talking about this to somebody the other day, and I went to go look it up, and it was
Expunged.
not
from
that
the
easy
me-
to find.
from
Yeah,
the-
it wasn't like one. Like if it was Trump, you know, it'd be everywhere.
Yeah. Well, that's how it goes. I mean, that's the people, you know, that were like down for them to get rid of Parler. You know, they were like, oh, because they're spreading right-wing hate speech. You know, like that's a slippery slope. Once you start there, you know, just like the mask deal, right? We started from a mask, and now all small businesses are going to have everybody vaccinated.
Yeah.
You know, like in New York, I should preface. But all this shit is a slippery slope. That's the issue.
We're going to keep at this. We're going to keep making progress for our families and for our nation. I promise you that's what's going to happen. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
Does not sound like
Come
it.
on.
That doesn't sound
Come
like
on.
it. We should even find old Biden from like the 80s or 90s, and I bet he doesn't even sound like
No,
that.
I mean, literally, if you analyze it a little bit more, it sounds like George. It sounds like George Clooney, or it sounds like you're at the Hall of Presidents in Disney World. It's like that's what the guy. What's a president? Presidents always had
Yeah.
that weird like cadence, right? They have that. Except
Come on,
Trump.
man.
Except Trump. Trump just straight up is like some
Yeah.
fucking blue collar. Fucking comedian. I mean, he's got great timing and all that stuff.
Dude, he
but
is
he
really
is not
good with that
presidential. It's
No.
his cadence is like I don't even know what the fuck. It
He's
matched.
a New York guy. He's a fucking rude New York guy. Like, that's...
You're rude.
You're rude.
You're
You're
rude.
fired.
You're rude. But dude,
Pig.
what the fuck? She's a pig. She's a pig. You called ladies pigs. No, I just called Rosie O'Donnell.
Dude, it just owns it. You
He
know?
goes,
like,
no, that's not true. I just called Rosie O'Donnell a pig. And,
you know?
I mean,
and
hey.
everybody's like, yeah, I mean, this is true.
I mean, hey. Oh man. So we're coming to the end of this fucking 2021, and I wanted to talk to you about all this kind of shit, right? What's going on in the fucking world? So it's like, I do have to say that if you keep the media, if you keep the news on, you read all this shit online, it does, right? The world is so much more fucked up when you're paying attention to this fucking screen.
Yeah, versus when you just go out and deal with people in real life.
Dude, I really, really wish. I say it all the time. I wish I could have a flip phone and then just do my jobs. I'll still do this, right? I mean, I don't know how, I wouldn't know what the fuck's going on, but
I could text you.
like, even when I take a break, personally, like I know that there's not much changing, right? Like, especially where we live, man, we're pretty lucky. Like, it's on paper, New Jersey's horrible on paper. However, I don't have to wear a mask anywhere I go,
Yeah.
unless it's like public transportation, which I haven't used in a while, right? In our area, I don't want to give exactly where we are, even though I think people will know, but in this area, there's not masks. Like, you don't have to wear masks. Some people do, some people don't. I did have to drop off papers at a lawyer the other day, and it was pretty crazy. There was like signs everywhere.
Oh,
the lady,
yeah?
oh my God, I just walked, like, said, no, I don't wear masks anymore. So I just walked in. She like shut the door, like, read the sign. I'm like, holy shit, here, just take this. I'm just trying to deliver this paper for someone. Here, take it.
That's I try not to go to places like that. You know, like I think you got to vote with your dollar, right? And
Yes.
if you don't agree with people enforcing that stuff, then you don't go to those places, you know?
Which around like where we are, there's not
There's not very many.
very many now. If you go to New York City, which is right down the like,
well,
right
that's
here,
being forced though
Yeah.
by the government sending people around to see if everyone is vaccinated. Like, because I went into a bar and they were like, we have to check. They go, it's not like we don't care, but they are sending people in to check everybody's cards.
Yeah, see, and then I've heard people in the city say, "Oh, no one checks. You can just get in with whatever. You just walk." I mean, whatever. Bottom line, it's still fucking crazy. It's still ridiculous that this is what's going on.
It's even a discussion.
I mean, I do try to flip onto and look at like local news, right? Just see what they're saying. Not this fucking cable, Fox, whatever. All of it's all bullshit where it's just commentating, really, not just news. So I try to put on the local channel, right? And they were just saying, like, I can't even, what is this? Omna, whatever the fuck it is called.
Omicron or something.
Or whatever, yeah. This new variant that everyone was freaking out. The stock market tanks, blah, blah, blah. They were literally on there saying, no, it's not that bad. This one's not that bad. They did, however, slip in, which was pretty funny.
If you're vaccinated.
Well, if you have to have 3 shots of the Pfizer. They actually said that. If you have 3 shots of the Pfizer, nothing will happen to you.
I like it. They're like, oh, this vaccine is good for this variant. How do you know? Here's my other thing, and I'm not a like botanist or whatever the fuck. That's plants. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Not a botanist.
I don't work on plants. All right. I
think
forgot even what
no
I was gonna say now. Since it was something medical. Oh. So why would we think that if the virus, like, let's just take any virus, okay? A different one, preferably, so that we don't get pulled from the tubes. Let's take a virus. If it can infect everyone, right? Mm-hmm. Why would it start to change? The virus is not going to change. It's going to continue doing what it's doing because it's working, right? Once people change something about themselves and now the virus needs to find a way around that, wouldn't that be where variants come from? And I'm not a rocket scientist or a flow botanist, which just draws blood. So I don't know. But it would seem like that would make sense to me. Why would people that have natural immunity be causing there to be more variants?
I'm not a gynecologist, but I have no idea. I have no clue. But I mean, Alex Jones, I always bring this guy up. I am so sorry. But he...
I'm sure Alex is really mad that
I'm more sorry for like because I know so many of the hardcore conspiracy people are like, he's a fucking sellout. Yeah. You know, and listen, he definitely does release. I don't know. Whatever. Talk about this too much. But he said years ago about the avian bird flus and all the stuff that this was coming, that these bird flus were coming, and they're not going anywhere.
Well, Bill Gates knew that as well.
Yeah. We got flagged. Do you see that for the Bill Gates thing?
No.
I couldn't even look at it. Yeah, we finally got flagged on Instagram from one of the memes where it's like Kermit the Frog, something about Bill Gates, and it's like Bill Gates has nothing to do with the pen. I don't know, whatever, who cares? But
it's so crazy that they're doing that though.
Dude, so how about, did you see, are you following anything with the Ghislaine Maxwell trial?
Just what We the People radio posts up.
All right, so there was this,
which
like,
is probably most of it.
There was this account that was like the Ghislaine Maxwell tracker on Twitter, right? And it had 500,000 fucking followers.
Oh, and they clipped it.
Got clipped this morning. Taken away.
Shady, why?
Shady. And
they can't put the trials out, the details of the trial out because they're too sensational for the people.
How shady is that? Now I know
super shady.
Sam has had some guy I really want to listen to. I haven't been listening to podcasts lately, but Sam just had like an emergency podcast with this guy talking about the trial. A guy that apparently is going there every single morning, and he said he saw Ghislaine's sister, like just to say, hey, because some people are saying like nothing's even happening. You know, you got all the levels of
right.
free thinkers or conspirators, right? You got the ones that everything's a psyop, everything is fake, you know?
Yep.
You got the people that say that the 9/11 was nothing happened. Well, I have news for you. Don't know what happened, but something definitely happened. I was there. But you got people that there's like everything is fake.
Did they think there were never towers?
Yeah, no. So some of those people say that it was a hologram. You know, it was
The towers for the last whatever 20 years.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, who knows? But
Oh,
yeah,
the planes hitting it.
The planes were a
and
hologram.
then
I do, however, have thought about that.
how could you?
And not holograms, but I have thought that possibly they were like almost like drone, because the precision of how they both hit is so hard to pull off. They were telling me some dude,
Especially since those guys were supposed to not really be able to fly.
Yeah, like so. There's something to possibly like a drone, right? Maybe even that was rigged with explosive or something. I don't know, but the way they hit perfectly, that's kind of crazy. Like that's really hard to pull off.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's a drone, a hologram, and how pretty much everything you were seeing, like I could tell you, I felt the heat. I could tell you I was covered in the debris. That was real. But who knows? I don't get too deep into the 9/11 one. I don't know what the fuck. I just know that a major catastrophe happened. Who the fuck pulled it off? I don't know. But it definitely changed the fucking world, I'll tell you that. The world definitely fucking changed. I can tell you. Anybody who listens to this, that, because I know we have quite a few listeners that are younger, they probably were very, very young when 9/11 happened. Let me tell you something. The world was much different before 9/11. Like,
yeah, it was sweet.
Yeah.
You could do whatever.
The
Like
world
tighten
was
the
so-
noose
yeah.
on us after that one with everything.
Yeah. I mean,
surveillance,
Yeah.
fucking.
Especially New York City, right? New York changed. And in the beginning, it had this friendliness to it that people like always remember that time where people, because New York is one of those places where nobody gives a fuck about anybody.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like that aspect, but it is something to it that, like, you know, you could be neighbors with someone for forever. You don't know who the fuck they are. Like, everyone just minds their own business. Where after 9/11, had this, even during 9/11, it had this, people were caring for each other. And it actually had restored a little hope for humanity in myself to see the way people acted. But
It faded quickly.
Yes, it faded quickly. But besides that, just the whole city changed after that. Like, you had that little period of people being really cool and nice to each other. But then, like, just the city changed.
Yeah.
Like, so fast. And then from that city, just
How
I
about
would say
flying?
the whole world. Then the whole world changed.
Flying totally changed.
Yeah.
Like, you could go with almost anything before, and then now it's like.
Yeah, you could just like kind of hop on a plane. I think you didn't really need ID. You just get on a plane.
Yeah, that's true too. I even think, did you even need a passport to go to Canada?
I don't think so. I think you just had a license.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just a driver's license, and yeah, there's a lot.
Doesn't
of
it sound like the Wild West where we grew up? Like, think about it now to a kid that, like you said, was born in, say, 2000, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had to use this thing called MapQuest where we, printed the directions out, and that was fancy. That was the fancy way to do it. If you didn't have a GPS, which GPS was like $500,
Yeah,
right?
I never had a GPS. I always
Me
had
neither,
atlases.
Exactly. Well, that's what I was gonna say. The mainstay was the Atlas, which, if you don't know, is just a big ass book. It's
Still carry one in every
like
car I have.
17 inches tall.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just each city. You'll have each state, and then the big areas of each state will be on a separate page.
Yep.
Like big cities or whatever. And then, like I said, if you were fancy, you got on your computer and you looked up the route, and then you printed it, and it would have the map with the map on it with your route, and then it would also have all your turns listed, just like the GPSs do now, but just on a piece of paper. Barely any cell phones.
Yeah.
We just got into cell phones when we were probably 18, 19, 20 is when cell phones became like affordable for everyone to have. Before that, it was like just mega rich people had cell phones.
Yeah. Yeah. Not regular people didn't have them.
Yeah. So, I mean.
And then with I remember going to raves, right? Because you had to keep it down. You couldn't say it's at XYZ because it would get busted. So you'd have to call on the back of a flyer. You had 1 million phone numbers, and it would have whoever that sub promoter was. And if you're in like South Jersey, you'd call that number, and it would be. And I used to have to run one. So if, let's say, whatever XYZ promoter said, Mike, I need you to run this directions for this party. So you get on, you'd have a voicemail, and you tell people, okay, if you're getting to Staten Island, make a left at the McDonald's, then 3 streets down, and you tell them step by step how to get there and landmarks. Yeah.
I never did any of that.
Yeah, we used to do that, and that was like, so people knew, like, so they would call them info lines, right? And you'd have like, and that was sub promoters, and I'll show you an old flyer. I have one in the office, and it's like 100 phone numbers. And that's what you do. You call them on the weekend, and you'd be like, all right, where's the party at? They tell you where it is, and then and you have to give directions. And you'd also say, like, where the after hours was, or, and that's how you figured it out. And for somebody like myself who gets lost with a GPS, like, I get lost.
Yeah, and you used to do that.
I don't know how the fuck I did it. I mean, I always had friends.
Because you don't have to now.
I don't know how the fuck I got everywhere I used to go. And we used to drive, leave New Jersey and go all the way upstate New York. Or go wherever.
I think I've told this story before.
We always got there.
I drove to Ohio and just had directions to Troy, Ohio, and didn't know where the fucking track was. And then I had to drive around and find
to Google.
No,
there's no Google.
No, I had like a StarTAC flip phone, probably.
Yeah.
Motorola StarTAC, shout out to them. You could fucking skip that thing down across the pond and fucking be fine.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how am I gonna find this? So then we start driving around. I'm like, let me find a fire station. So I found a fire station, went in there and was just like, where's the track? And they're like, oh, it's down the road or whatever. I figured they had to know because they probably deal with it all the time, but. Would most people know to do that now?
And that's the other thing, right? You'd always go to gas stations, or you find something like you said it.
Ironically, it's interesting with motocross tracks, dude. You could be in the town and people they have no idea.
Yeah, I could see that.
Some towns do. Some towns you show up and like everybody knows about it, and it's kind of like a cool thing. Yeah. And then sometimes you show up at towns, still even small towns, or like the next town, they're like. Most people will have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I've had to go to several gas stations for someone to finally be like, oh, I think the motocross track, I think that's down this way. I've also had them tell me that, and it was it was like a speedway, and I'm like, fuck.
You have to rely on somebody too. Think about that. And I had friends that worked at gas stations that would purposely fucking give people fucked up directions. Jersey. I'm like, dude, that's not like a lot of my friends worked at gas stations when we were, in high school. So you hang out.
That's a very Jersey thing to do.
Yeah, right. So you hang out the gas station. With your
Nobody
buddy.
down south would ever do that.
Well, I don't think they never pump gas. That's part of it.
If you asked anybody at a gas station, they would just be like, "Oh man, I'll follow me. I'll drive down there. I ain't got nothing to do right now."
Yeah, Southern hospitality. That's true. Where fucking people in New Jersey just give the poor family wrong directions.
I call it.
Why would you do that, man?
The what is it, Mason Dickhead line? Because it's like as soon as you cross a certain line, then nobody holds doors or anything. Like it's just nobody even acknowledges you.
Yeah, man. So I have this theory with. I think people are becoming more and more assholes by getting this. I feel like something, I don't know, there's a vibe change going on again in the world. Just kind of like we were talking about 9/11, how the months after, even years after 9/11, people were kind of very friendly in New York City, a place where people barely would even look at each other. And same with the pandemic. At least what I see here in the restaurant industry, people were supporting, so happy, thanking you. Now, we're... Not only me, but a lot of places are dealing with labor shortages, right? So yeah, it's a little rougher.
Yeah, where did everybody go? Like, what are they doing? There's not still.
Well, there's the government's not giving the money, so that's that's a topic I want to talk to you about.
So what the fuck are they doing? Did that many people die of COVID? Like,
right. So did they die? Was it a lot of NPCs? Was it? Could it have been? I think it's more. I like to look at things more positive. As much as it's frustrating that people aren't working, at least for me, to get people to work, I think people had free time and realized, fuck it, there's other ways to make money. I don't want to fucking be in the service industry. I don't want these smaller, they figured things out.
They were forced into figuring
shit, man. If you fucking invested, yeah, maybe it's that. Hey, it could be that. It could be, who knows, man. It could be.
I bet you had a lot of servers that could probably make a pretty penny on.
I don't know. But
in the past.
in my 20 years of being in the industry, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's my
guys
what I'm
and
saying.
girls probably could have made these and it's
It's a good percentage of people that were good looking enough that probably given those tools now.
But even let's say you have a
or like I'm not going to deal with assholes in person. I can just.
But there's so many things that can empower you. Not only just showing your butthole, like you could, if you're a graphic designer, you can go online and sell your designs. If you're a photographer,
and again, they were forced to do that.
And then people were forced to do that. I mean, shit, I know when I was really hurting for money a while back, I started an eBay account and just went around my house. My friend said it to me, he's like, dude, he saw me throwing things away. He's like, are you crazy? Like that shit goes. And I was like, really? And I did it. I listed all my junk and this was years ago. And I was shocked how much stuff I thought was garbage that I turned into money.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe people started figuring things out. I mean, shit, if you took the money the government gave and invested in this crazy crypto and stock market, you could fucking have made yourself a lot of money. So I don't know. I don't know if people are getting smarter. I mean, it is. I talk to a lot of younger people all the time because of this job, and it is really cool actually how many young 20-somethings invest their money. Like you talk to them and they're like, oh yeah, they know about stocks, crypto, whatever. They invest, which when I was that age, it was like I spent my whole paycheck on like at a club.
They made it hard for us to invest back then.
Oh, absolutely.
Didn't it? You had to get a broker or something and have an account. And
in fairness, absolutely.
20-year-old kid was doing that.
No,
in the
if
90s.
anything, you put it in a savings account and your bonds and things like that, which didn't even make that much. But that was
exactly
the kids that had their shit together did stuff like that. But you're right, it wasn't as easy. It's just like getting a cash. You get an app right now.
Right,
within a day, less than a day, you could be trading and stuff, and that's kind of cool.
That's why they shut it down when all that shit started to happen, right? They're like, oh, too many people have.
Yeah, with the whole GME and all that, with the sell button. Yeah, man.
Too many people can.
I have a whole theory
actually
on all
affect this.
I have a whole theory on all that. I think, I hate to be a doom and gloomer because I do believe in positive at the end, but I think we all see that there's something. There's definitely the end of something. Something is anybody who's trying to act like the world is normal right now. That's just being ignorant. I do believe that we're headed towards a something greater, but let's say the economy was to collapse. Do you think the banks or not even the banks? Do you think the elites, let's just say, are going to blame it on themselves?
Of course not.
No. So maybe with this whole like GME, AMC, and crypto, and also making all these people like, once it actually does come tumbling down, they're going to blame the little meme stock people. They're going to blame the regular people. Like, look what they did. Well, meanwhile, they've been robbing and stealing from the people since the beginning of time. And now that some small, these younger kids, man, they're sharp. Some of these guys, like, they've only been trading for a couple of years, and they figured it out. And once again, just another way the internet got away, But it could be a honey trap. It could be. See, you never know. You never know if it's like, is it really, or is it like, give them a little bit, just enough so they think they're onto something, and let's flip the script. I don't know, man. That's what people are saying about Bitcoin. Maybe the whole thing was just a CIA honeypot. I don't know. But I can tell you what, at least you can make money while it's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a way to make money out of it. Now, I don't know if it's... I don't know. I have no fucking clue. All I know is for myself is like, just be a good fucking person.
Why
and just be good to people.
Money evolve in some way? And...
I mean, that's interesting, but then look at gold. Gold has been the fucking standard pretty much since the beginning of time.
We don't go by that.
We don't, but really, really rich people or really, really smart people hold on precious metals, and that never really changes value. You don't hear gold. You don't hear gold crashing. You don't hear silver really crashed, but paper is paper. That's the easiest way to get somebody who doesn't believe conspiracies. When you tell them about that, when you say, what does this paper represent? And you'd be so surprised how many really smart people will tell you it's backed by gold. And you say, you really think that?
Yeah.
If you ever want to like red pill grandma or red pill your cousins or something at a family, I'm telling you, man, this is the oldest trick in the book. I've been doing this forever. to really smart people, and that's like one of the first things to open, because you'd be surprised how many people think that it's still backed by gold, our dollar. And then you say, no, it's not. And then they quick Google. When I was doing it before, it was a little harder than just a Google. You know, you had to look a little bit, and then you had to really. But now a quick fucking Google search, and you're like, oh shit, this is really paper. That's fucking scary. But you know, I do think 2021 was a crazy fucking year. Right? It was crazy. Tons of shit happening. The world is definitely changing. Not even just America. The whole fucking world is changing. And honestly, if you look at the grand scheme of things, I think we don't really have it as bad as some of these, like in Europe and other places.
No, we
bad.
don't.
It's bad.
So why are so many people here bitching about it? That's the thing to me, you know, like, how can you live here and bitch about it and then be like, we should let all these refugees in? At the same time, it's like the same people. So if it sucks here, what do people want to come here for? And why are you like, we need to accept them into this shithole that I hate? You know?
Well, I think that's just really, to answer it quick, I think it's just people are spoiled rotten brats that have never had too much shit go wrong.
Right.
You know, even Clint, even with how bad it is and how shortages are coming, right? It's literally, you're not getting your fucking mocha chai latte with 3 shots of whatever. But at the end of the day, you still can find coffee.
But it's going to trickle down, though, if it keeps going the way it is. You know, right now it's the new computer I ordered, you know, that's going to take 5 weeks. Or, you know, lawnmowers and shit like that, and leaf blowers and all that stuff has been back ordered. Bicycles.
Yes.
It's been hard to get all that stuff. But if it continues, it's going to make its way down to everything, you know?
Absolutely. And that's when like the people you're talking about that are so, this country sucks. But imagine when they can't get, you know, you're right. When you can't get chips that you need to do real things that really affect, well, then it's going to be, but so right now it's just all that little bullshit.
Yeah.
You know? But I don't know, man. Are these shortages manufactured as well? Because I know.
Well, obviously they're not letting stuff into the ports.
We're in Jersey where we have the biggest ports, and I don't know about you, but I've talked to people that work in the ports, and they're like, we all have to say, like, we can move stuff. We don't know what's going on. We're able. Don't blame it on a labor shortage of us.
Yeah.
Like, we're here. We're ready to do it. So there's a lot. I think there's so much going on behind the scenes that we have no fucking clue. The transport director had a baby and he took like maternity leave for like, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Our gay transport director.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Which is fine, but my point is, had a baby.
Did he deliver it?
I don't know. Like, this is my point. Who had the baby? How'd they have a baby?
You know, I never thought about any of what you're saying.
They like got a baby. Is the other what? I don't understand. And this took so much of his time that he couldn't get fucking ships into the ports.
Yeah, while we're having a major problem, he's like, I'm gonna just take a couple of weeks off.
I'm gonna have a baby. Like, here's my other point.
I know where you're.
If you're just adopting, why don't you just wait until you fucking figure out what's going on with the trains?
We got a big problem. My department's got a huge issue right
Let's
now. Can I wait 3 weeks
till we adopt that baby? Like, what the fuck?
I don't know the details, but that's pretty fucking funny.
I'm gonna have to look in the details now, because like that's how they always put it. They're like, he had a baby, and I'm like, did they have a surrogate?
I mean, dude, you would think, right? Like, I just run a fucking little comedy club and a little restaurant, and it's like, I miss big events in my family's lives and big things, because it's like, oh shit, we're down a server.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Clint's got another gig. Like,
yeah.
we put things on hold just for a little fucking restaurant and a little place that, you know, a small comedy club.
No, but the whole country.
You're in charge of fucking major decisions, and that's affecting the whole world. Not even our country, the whole fucking world. And it's like, nah, I need to take a couple. Like, I can't imagine that. And as much as like I don't know where the fuck I sit with Trump, and I really think politics are bullshit. But one thing I gotta say about that guy was fucking work. He used to make me feel lazy. I'm like, how is this guy? He would like call on Fox News at like 11:30 at night or like 5 a.m. and just be on and talking and getting shit done. Like he was a fucking worker. He was a hustler. Like there was none of this bullshit.
Listen, and people like to go, he started with $1 million, so he's a billionaire. Yeah, but he started with $1 million. I did the math. I said, have you ever had $1,000? Yeah, and I'm like, why don't you have $1 million now?
Dude,
that's different.
It's
not different at all.
It's easier to spend It's a lot easier to earn $1 million, to spend $1 million than to earn it.
Yeah,
you could spend that shit faster than, you know what I'm saying. So if somebody handed, especially you could say that about him, but you could say about anybody that got, you know, it's different if you got life-changing money, and $1 million would be life-changing to me.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things and how big of a person he is, that's not life-changing money, you know? So let's just say a couple $100,000. Like it's not, you know, whatever that number is. Let's just use a smaller number, you know, but whatever it is. Like if somebody hands you that and says, go with it, most people are going to spend it and fail.
Yeah, because it was too easy to get.
Yeah, most people are. It's just hard. It's fucking hard. I mean, I could talk for myself. I had investors in raves, and there's ones that fucking, yeah, if you invested, you made a lot. There's other ones where it's like, oh shit, man, I'm sorry, but this didn't work out.
Yeah.
It's not, a lot of things for business have to work out. You don't just get $1 million. And I know in right now's climate with crypto and stocks, it does seem like if you had, just put in Tesla in a couple of years, you know. Yeah,
hindsight now, yeah.
True, but that first of all, that's kind of, it's
a lot
of
of people
weird.
have sunk a bunch of money into shit, and then guess what? They no longer have that money.
But to take that money and then start real estate or whatever kind of businesses, it's fucking not easy. It's not easy, and it's a lot easier to talk from the sidelines, and that's just with anything, right? That's what I'm sure in your sport.
My friend Javier and I used to, we were in the stands and watching people, and he was riding the event. And I would just be like, bro, that jump is easy from here. Like we used to say, like all the jumps are easy from the stands.
Oh yeah, and watching any sport, right?
Yeah,
any sport, it's like, you know, the best.
Just catch it.
Yeah. You know? If I was that guy, I would just fucking punch him right now. I would just, okay, buddy. If you're that guy, you wouldn't last fucking 2 minutes. You'd be out of breath, and you would come on.
Exactly.
But you know, in a sense, in a way, the world is too fucking easy. Which is scary. Yeah. It's just scary, man. Because when it's too fucking easy.
It's too easy.
For everything.
The too easy is built on a house of cards is what the issue is.
Fucking A, man.
You know, like the supermarket, the supply chain, all that bullshit is like, it's like too cumbersome. If anything really happens, the fact that we're eating avocados from Guatemala or whatever, or even California, well, guess what? We shouldn't have avocados right now this time of year.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
You know, like the bananas right now taste like shit.
And in our lifetime, man, like it's probably something we both didn't really pay attention to, but I bet you
when we were young,
I bet you I actually do kind of remember a teacher bringing avocado in when I was like in first or second grade, and she had a tree or something. And she grew them somehow, some way. And you could do it in New Jersey. I actually have that's a good example because they weren't readily available. Something like a banana, sure. Plus, you can get bananas all the time from Florida, so that's pretty.
Right.
You know, that's a pretty easy. But something like an avocado or something like I don't know, even some exotic fruits. Like it shouldn't be as easy as it is.
Right.
And same thing with meats, man.
Yeah.
How available like just meat is in general. It's not. Yeah. Sustainable.
Well, and the problem is I think that all of this stuff that we're talking about is probably GMO or whatever.
It's got to be.
A lot of the stuff, you know, because like how does a pepper or a papaya get picked and make it up here? But here's the thing. You realize like they're just picked so prematurely.
Yes.
So that they're not rotten by the time they get here.
That's part of it.
Because if you go to South America and like papaya here is like a texture in your mouth.
Exactly.
It doesn't taste like anything.
100%.
I went to South America and was like, they gave me fruit, and I was going through, and I was like, oh, I'll just get rid of this papaya because it sucks. And I ate it, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Are you joking me?
It's amazing,
like, this is
right?
a totally different thing.
Yeah, man. So it's too easy. Everything's too easy.
Yeah.
You know, everything's too easy, dude. Let's think about something more silly. I don't engage
I haven't
in porn.
gone to any stores to Christmas shop.
Yeah, there you go. But I don't engage in porn. But here's a good example. Like, it's not something that I
Sounds like you do.
I don't. Like, it's something.
Just watch, you mean?
Yeah. Okay. But I don't give my attention to that anymore because I do think it's a bad mind virus. And through one of my ayahuasca experiences, like, I just stopped with it. Right. When ayahuasca gives you an infinite amount of just little screens of the most vile porn and it's just surrounding you, it makes you never want to look at it again. That happened to me.
What?
Woo! Nice.
Dude, you're whacked.
I just got whacked. So, so anyway, but think about that, Clint. Think about when we were kids, right? So think about you had to either, I mean, I guess when we were younger, we talked about right? You had to go find a magazine, or maybe you had somebody you knew had like a Spice Network, and you could have a recorded video, right?
No, now you can just be inundated all day.
Anywhere. I remember when we were kids, like, remember people, like, some of the people that really trick out their cars would have like a DVD, like a screen.
Yeah.
That was like a big deal. Like, I never had it, but I knew people that had like the headrest with the TVs, right?
Yep.
And I remember, like, especially in New York, you'd see it. Just like a car driving by with porn and and you'd be like, what? It's corny as hell, but that used to happen, right?
Yeah.
Because that was DVDs and it was getting a little easier. Now it's like the main reason why I don't think kids should have phones,
right,
or access is because it's just fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just everywhere. So that's one disgusting habit, right? Now, if you want to talk about fast food, dude, from the dojo to my house, at any day of the week, any hour, I could probably hit up 10 different restaurants and get fucking meat out of a window, right?
Yeah.
So you just said you didn't go to any stores. You just shop, and most of it's fucking Amazon, probably, right? Because Amazon has everything.
I've been ordering from the companies themselves.
Good, because you're conscious and you're thinking.
Yeah.
But for the most part, if you really need something, I mean, we're guilty
Right.
of it.
No, listen, if I need something tomorrow,
We're
guess
guilty
who
of
I'm
it.
going
yeah,
to.
when we need like equipment for
Yeah.
a show or something, it's like, I can't get to a Guitar Center or whatever, which is so it's just shit is just too easy, man. So and some people just grew up that way. They don't know anymore. They don't know any different. Think about once 3D printing comes out. Once 3D printing comes, like, really, I mean, now it's out, but I'm saying when a part breaks for something here and we just have to, we hit it in, that's coming, man. Where a part breaks, you put it in, it's going to happen. Where you just,
I mean, it is people are doing it, but I'm thinking about for the shop, dude.
It's going to happen.
We need to figure out how we can scan stuff, so then we could just duplicate it.
Well, that's coming. There's going to be sneakers. It's going to be everything. You're just going to 3D print whatever you want.
I think printed sneakers probably not gonna.
No, I think so. I think they're already fucking thinking about all that shit, man.
I guess they can
You'll go
print
to the Nike shop and you'll get like your colors and your material or whatever, and you put it in and
Dude, I'm gonna 3D print Crocs. You could definitely do that, right? You'd have some kind of foam fucking
I mean,
whatever.
People could 3D print a gun, so I'm sure they could do anything. But so it's going to get even easier. Then you have the whole metaverse, right? Which is really that's a trip that trips me out when I think about that, because when I was a kid, I always thought about virtual reality. I used to think about it a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I used to think about like real virtual reality, like where you put on, like, basically where we're headed right now. I used to think about this time period, and I was obsessed with it. And I would just get into these rabbit holes in my brain, just thinking like, wow, man, you put something on your head and like you could go back to the pyramids. You can go back. Obviously, it's not real, but you could experience it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's gonna happen at some point in history. Like, I didn't realize it will probably happen in our lifetime, right? So once you have,
I mean, I think you already have that.
it's still a little cartoony. It's still like a little cartoony. Like it's awesome. It's cool. I don't really actually want to get involved with that either now as I get older. But I think it's going to get to the point where you're not even going to know the difference between.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I.
And there's parts of it that are cool, comedy clubs and fun things. Right. Concerts. If you can't go to a concert, you're sitting on the stage and watching the band. That's kind of cool.
I wanted to get a 3D camera.
Mm-hmm.
And set it in the middle of the room, and then have people do virtual reality, and then they can look around, and see the rest of the crowd.
So that's all coming,
whatever.
right? That's all coming.
We need one of those cameras, Mike.
But what is like we have to be headed in a way to some kind of dystopia, because once that happens, right? We already have all this great, everything's so easy.
Now they can just lock you down, and then you can just see sun in the virtual world.
But why are people?
And everybody's gonna be fat because they don't actually do anything.
You ever seen the movie
but
WALL-E?
then their avatars are all gonna be fucking hot. They're gonna be
100%,
like,
dude.
They're gonna be like, fat, big is beautiful, but my avatar is fucking ripped.
Yeah, you should watch
that's easy.
Watch WALL-E, dude. It's just take a little mushrooms or take a couple toast and watch that. That shit you'll be like, oh shit, this is like where we're headed. We're like, but I do think there'll be pushback, right? As much as there's people that are for it, I think then some people are like, yo, fuck that. I want to go out in nature. I want to go.
I mean, I think like that's like, and I'm sure you agree with this. That's like beyond beef or whatever, beyond meat. Like virtual outside. Like, yes, you're looking around and seeing like you're outside, but you're not feeling the breeze. You're not getting, you're not interacting with, germs and the air like you are outside in the sun and the dirt and everything else.
Yeah, man. And that Beyond Meat's a great example because like vegan, right? Mm-hmm. Like I broke being a vegan. I did it for 3 months, maybe a little more. And my body didn't react to it. I didn't. Now, in the beginning, it was fine because I was eating, it was the middle of the summer. I was eating a lot of vegetables out of my garden, grabbing fresh fruits and eating that raw. And I still am an advocate. I think if you ate raw fruits, vegetables, and you knew where they were coming from, and I know you differ with that, but I do think there's something to that. However, that is, like we just said, it's almost impossible to live that way, especially in December in the Northeast.
Right. Well, you're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to.
I think as people, and again, I'm not a urologist, but but like I think we're supposed to eat stuff in abundance when we come across it, and then probably not see it for a little bit, and then eat it in abundance when you come across it. Like I think we're probably meant to eat stuff in big settings at one period of time, get a flood of whatever nutrient, and then, deal in between. I'm more so on plant-wise, obviously, because, like my point is, if you came across a field of berries, what are you going to do? Probably grab as many berries off of there as long as you knew they weren't going to kill you.
Different timeline, like previous, you're saying?
Like we're hunter-gatherers still.
Hey, I'm no proctologist, but that sounds right to me.
You're a hunter-gatherer. You come across a field of blueberries. What are you doing? Eating the fuck out of those blueberries, right? Like,
yeah, of course.
You get an animal, you kill the animal, you're going to eat that animal. Then if you come across something else, you're going to eat that. So, I mean, I think that we're probably made that way. But obviously now you have everything in abundance all the time, so you can't really.
Yeah. When I was really tapped in, like when I was really, really, really changed my life years ago, and I was tapped in, right? I would say I was never like dieting. I would call what I was doing intuitive eating. Yeah. I would eat intuitively, and I literally knew I just knew what I was supposed to do. And I'm trying to get back to that again, but I literally knew, and that's like when my vibration was the highest. That's when I was like doing all kinds of crazy stuff, sun gazing, Wim Hof breathing, cold plunges, all that stuff, and I would literally intuitively eat. I would know what I'm supposed to eat. Like you talk about the salt, like I just somehow knew to add. I didn't hear about anything. I just knew put some pink salt in my like I just knew I was getting cramps, and I like literally just would listen to my body, and really just stayed away from all processed foods.
Well, that I think that right there is the key, because a lot of people are eating so many processed foods all the time that they don't even actually know what it's like to feel good. You know, like they think they feel okay, but they don't, just because of all the shit, you know? So their base level of good isn't even good.
Yeah.
So, and again,
That's
if
true too.
you're at that point, then if you're there, how can you listen to your body and tell whether it's really doing anything when you always are in like some sort of state of discomfort?
You're always in some kind of brain fog.
Yeah. And your body too is always dealing with something. You're eating stuff that doesn't like jive well with you. You have gas or diarrhea or whatever, you know what I mean? Your stomach hurts, whatever. I mean, there's all type of things from eating incorrectly that we overlook because we're just used to dealing with. We just think that's how we are.
Yeah.
You know what you were saying too about the shot making everybody more aggro.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of makes sense, right? Because it's the same reason they don't allow psychedelics, right? Is because people would. What do psychedelics mainly teach people? Love, understanding, ego death. Like whereas they don't want that because it's much harder to sow distent if everybody's
absolutely, man.
So why wouldn't they? You know, and I've been trying to go like, what is the end goal with this? Why are they giving it to so many people?
Well, I think you always got to go dollars first. You always have to go, like, just so you're not
but
always
like
conspiracy. It's always, like, at least for me, it's always, I think, dollars first. Because you could always get crazy with lizard people. I mean, you can go nuts, right? And I'm sure there's some
seems like
truth.
a lot of. I agree. People are on the money train, but it seems like a lot to do solely for money.
Well, I think it's money, Clint. And I also think it's to let's see how far of control we can get. How much
That's
push.
What I mean.
Like, it's almost
so
like
that's your second.
Yeah.
But my point is, it's not just solely money because. You know, to have gotten everybody involved, the government's involved, like.
Yeah, man, but it's like it's so. I mean, when people say conspiracies are so, how do you get so many people involved? We're in the perfect time of year now. How the Santa Claus? Everyone's in on that together. Everyone's in on that to little kids, just to lying to them, and that's a little easy one. Yeah. And we all collectively decide to say, let's all lie to the children. Like, we all do it. Everyone does it. We all don't be the asshole to tell, you know, even like the news, they were talking about a Santa's helper shortage. And like, you understand, like, and the way they were doing it so they didn't ruin the whole thing for the kids. I saw this morning on the news. And it's like, so that's what, like, so when people say that shit, first of all, it's compartmentalized. I'm not saying that you said that, but I'm just saying conspiracies as a whole. Think about that. We do that. Things can be so compartmentalized where the tippy top, the things that you really, really, the hardcore information, only a few people know.
Yeah.
You know? It's so it's a lot easier than we think to trick the masses, to get the masses to go along with something. And I think diet, like we just talked about, that's going to dumb you down. The water we all know, and you don't just take water, you know, by drinking. You know, you also get fluoride in your skin. Your skin's your biggest organ. So you could absorb a lot just by showering in fluoridated water.
Well, and beyond that, all the stuff that's sprayed, glyphosate and all that stuff onto the food that we eat and into the yard.
It would have been great if we spoke about an expert on the sprays, but for some reason, I guess his link didn't work.
I realized what happened now. When it signed on, when your computer signed on, it signed on as him. And I said, though, I go, Mark's signing on as a joke to you.
Okay.
All right, we're out of here. But that...
Oh, God.
I made it as a joke to you.
Gotcha.
I realized...
It's all right. But you know what, Clint? I do believe that there's a dumbing down of the society, and that's what's going on. And then I also believe there is an awakening, and there are some fucking amazing people.
But that's why what you said makes sense with the shot being the anti-awakening type of deal.
Yeah.
right? Because they're like, oh, this is happening. What are we going to do? We need to kind of, fight this somehow. So that would make a lot of sense, as much sense as, like some of the other theories that I've probably thought, like, so.
Dude, it's crazy time. I don't know if I don't know about predictions or whatever. I do think, unfortunately, I think we got a little bit more bumps. I do think we have a couple more bumps in the road. It does seem like, one thing is freaking me out is, if you notice, they are really, the media always kind of fucking shows its hand. It always, if you've really been watching this for a while, you can almost tell what's going to come up. Mm-hmm. And they are stoking those flames for the war with Russia. Or Russia, not even war might be a big word, but they are getting us ready and pissed off about Ukraine and Russia. We have so many fucking problems right now.
Yeah.
Why are we even talking about why are we talking about war with any superpower right now? And it's like that, if you watch the news, that is what they're talking about.
I think we should start a war with anybody who's polluting. We should go over there and fight with them to reduce their carbon footprint. We'll spend billions of dollars and burn all this fuel to go over there to be like, hey, don't pollute.
or just all this.
I brought 80,000 people to tell you not to pollute. All right.
Oh my God, dude. There's so many solutions to these problems, Clint. They're just so simple, but for some reason,
war.
That's what we fuck war, man. I have to say though, I would hope that the state of how everyone in this world is feeling right now with COVID and all, everyone's feeling it, not just America. That if someone was going to drum up a war, I feel like the people might just be like, "Yo, fuck you." On both, we're not fighting each other right now. I would hope so. I don't know.
I think a lot of our people would say that, but do you think Russia, they'd be like, let's kill them?
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Again,
know.
do we know what?
I don't know much about.
Do we know what's being put on their TV over there?
No.
I'm sure that it's also. I'm sure it's manipulated as much, if not more, than ours, because he's got full control there. Same thing like China, dude. China's deal, their TV is even like Chinese Communist television or something, CCTV, like, bro.
Yeah, man.
How could you trust anything that come out of that station?
Yeah, of course. But it's same thing. How do we also trust like a lot of what's coming out of?
I don't.
Same thing with the internet. Like the internet too, man. The fact that like Twitter took away that Maxwell, and whatever you think about that Maxwell, that's weird. Like, what did that?
It's not just weird. There are accounts or videos up of Taliban cutting people's heads off.
That's what I'm saying.
And you can't have the Ghislaine trial.
Or, I mean, whatever. They took away Trump's fucking Twitter.
Yeah.
But like,
and then who else?
Like,
somebody else real big they got rid of. I don't remember. Then the Project Veritas they're shutting down.
Yeah. It's very
It's all about,
man.
Listen, it's all about stopping the spread of misinformation, Mike.
I mean, I guess you're right. You're cutting off someone's head. That's well,
happening. That's fine. That's not misinformation. But if you post,
the Kermit the Frog,
but if you post
was violence, was promoting violence.
If you post something about the Cuomo brothers, then we're gonna have to take it down. Actually, no. I think they're out of the clique now, so they're fair game.
They got way too Italian.
Yeah, they're fair game. They're like, hey, it's fine.
Just like, hey, just grab every girl's ass. That's what we do.
Hey,
this is what we do over here. That's
how you doing?
Italian.
Squeeze,
shake
squeeze.
titties. I just shake a titty. That's what we do.
Oh, it's my culture.
Don't shit on my culture.
Back off.
Those two. Oh God, man, the news sucks, but I think 2022 won't be as bad. I think it's going to be bumpy. I think people are getting tired of shit. And people, the smart ones, the free thinkers, we always come together and we always kind of rise up from this bullshit. And I know more and more people are getting into spirituality. More and more people are finding Jesus. More and more people are getting back into, wherever makes them comfortable and are bettering themselves. Gyms are getting are getting packed. People more than ever into meditation. So there's a lot of things that are happening that are good. And same message we all tell you: nobody is going to save you but yourself. The government's not coming to save you. There's no politician coming to save you.
I pay taxes.
Yeah,
they'll come and get me.
Yeah, they'll come get you, but they ain't gonna save you, Clint.
That's
they'll
save me in a little camp.
You think you'll headline in a camp? Depends what camp. If you're there with Sam, you're not gonna headline. If Sam's in that camp, you're not headlining. But
maybe things will change by then.
Listen, man, I think first I just want to say this year was up and down and all over the place personally. But if it wasn't for my main man Clint over here, this podcast would not be possible. It would never happen. I would be thinking about it in my head and I would never do it. So I got to thank Clint for that. I got to thank all the people that listen to this podcast and send me nice messages, because I cannot tell you how many times I just want to say, I'm good. I don't want to record. And I know we've had some sound issues and we've had different formats and we've been all over the place, but this is just an experiment. This has been a project. Clint works around the clock. He is busy and he still comes and records with me once a week. And I really am grateful and thankful for you, Clint. I'm thankful for, like I said, anyone who listens to this and hits me up saying something nice, or when I've met people at Sam's shows or at the dojo and they say this podcast has helped them, to wake up. That's what this is for. We got a cool message the other day about somebody saying how like all the podcasts out there are commercialized, but you guys still keep it real. And
we're trying to sell out.
But it's cool, man, and we've made some really awesome friends along the way. This is the podcasting community, from what I've seen, has been nothing but awesome people. Just we all have different ideas, but it's good. It's nice that we could come to a place where we could all talk and have these conversations. And I know people think we're weirdos, but more and more people are pulling me aside, asking me questions, that are waking up. And listen, man, just because somebody took a vaccine or just because somebody voted for someone doesn't make them a bad person. We got to remember that we're all fucking human beings and we're all here just to help each other out, and that's all we can do. We got to be there for each other. As harder as this fucking shit gets, we got to have compassion for everyone. We can't be yelling, screaming, and fighting. There's a time and place for that shit, and it's not right now. Right now is the people need to come together and help each other out. And I think for the most part, the people, at least that I've messed with, they're not the I told you so's. They're not the, they're more, they do have compassion. And it's probably because we are doing more of these activities and these things, the experiments, whether it's, whatever, psychedelics, meditation, we can go on and on and on. And a lot of free thinkers are doing these things. Like you said, Clint, what do psychedelics do? The message always comes out to be love. And I just want everyone.
And that we're all one big.
Yeah.
We're connected somehow.
Absolutely.
However it is. Energy.
Absolutely.
Thoughts, whatever. We're all kind of connected.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. One way to look at it is like drops of water, right? Like all little drops of water, and then eventually it all goes to the ocean or wherever it goes in this big body of water that we're all together and we're this great source, but collectively as well. And man, this has been fun. Like I said, I know it's been a roller coaster. I know I've had some personal things. We took breaks. It's been all over the place. It has not been fucking easy by any means trying to run a restaurant in the middle of this pandemic and a comedy club. Has not been easy, but we keep doing it. And any of the listeners out there, you guys ever want to come to the dojo, hit me up. Your first time here, I would love to get you in, depending on the comic, but for the most part, I will get you in. And I extend that invitation to any of our listeners. If you guys ever want to come to any shows, Clint is here at the door almost every week also. So I just we have a couple of really, hopefully, I don't want to, we'll just tease it, but there could be a couple of guests coming to the end of the year and the beginning of next year that are going to be unbelievable. So I'm working on that. Clint, you got anything else before we go?
Well, right now you do have Martin Moreno for
comedy.
Yeah.
No, I was talking about the podcast.
Oh.
But yeah,
okay,
for sure.
okay.
No, you're right. You're right. We
I
have.
thought you were talking about the club.
We have two. Yeah, actually, no. I don't know when this is going to go out, but we do have two
It'll
amazing
be
shows.
way before.
So we have New Year. Yeah, so we have New Year's Eve with Martin and Hooter Moreno. Guys, Martin Moreno is if you ever seen Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias, Martin is his opener for the last, I believe, 20 years. You've seen him on his shows and all that. Martin is one of the funniest motherfuckers and great guy. He comes to the dojo every couple of years. He's sharing New Year's with us, which is going to be amazing. Then we also have Jessica Kirsten, and we're doing it with a beer dinner with Elementary Brewery. So it's going to be the first time I ever do a beer, craft beer comedy show, which I've been wanting to do for a while. We're only selling like 25 tickets to that because it's a lot of work for me. It's really hard to do, but I cannot wait. That will be January 20th. So yeah, those are two big shows we have planned. I'd love to have you guys come out, celebrate New Year's with us. That'd be awesome. Clint's got livestreamcomedy.com where he's always doing awesome shows.
Yeah, the next one is December 18th. We're going to live stream the Cobra Comedy Show live from the dojo. Headliner is James Camacho, but the rest of the show is no slouch either. Amanda Gale, Elazar, Guzman, I don't remember who else. Probably me, Vic.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. And you can see that. So I started, you can either go to Facebook and find the event on there, the virtual one, and buy the tickets there, or you can join the live stream Patreon. So live stream comedy, patreon.com/livestream comedy. And then you can become a Patreon. It's like $5 a month right now for the lowest one, and you get all the shows, which should be around 2 a month.
Awesome. Yeah, guys. We are going to try to kick it up for 2022. We're going to try to get more content out there, and we got some goals. Some goals. And yeah, man, thank you so much. Thanks for listening, guys.
Later.